1 second.
Okay.
Got to share it to Facebook. Hang on.
Are we good?
I just got to share to Facebook. Hang on just 1 second. That's the part that takes a second. Bear with me. It's preparing. Hang on just 1 second.
Don, Barry, you, well, where you're muted, right? Your microphones are muted. Don, are you aware?
Don, you're muted. Don,
Maureen, you are too again.
Dad, I did that on purpose until I say something now. 'cause
Me
it's
too.
fine.
I just wanted to be sure everybody was aware.
Hang
Don,
on.
you
y'all,
need to
sorry.
unmute because you're in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Don, on the top of your head.
Bear with me. The internet is entirely froze. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Hey, Don.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I
move it
can-
down so we can see your hands and face.
He good.
There we are.
Okay, now you guys can go ahead.
Okay, I've got a little bit after 7:30, so if everybody's ready, we'll kick the meeting off. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the February webinar, and I hope we have a large turnout. We're doing this as a webinar tonight in anticipation of our March meeting, because we want to try running a webinar during our March meeting so that everyone, our fellow residents, can give us questions, and that way we can give you some feedback as to what's going on. We had all hoped that this COVID deal would have ended a long time ago, and that we wouldn't have had to keep doing these electronic meetings, because believe me, your board doesn't like them any more than the rest of the residents do. So with that all said, Madam Secretary, if you would establish a quorum, please.
Thank you, Mike. Mike Barnwell,
Here.
Dennis Brown,
Here.
Maureen Walsh,
Here,
Mickey Lloyd,
Here.
Don Harmon,
Here.
Barry Gardner,
Here.
Shane McGuinn,
Here.
and myself, Tiffany Becker. Here.
Got a quorum. Thank you, Tiffany. Go ahead, if you would, with the secretary's report.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the January minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. Anything else, Tiffany?
No, that's it.
All right, we'll move right on into the treasurer's report. Don, if you please.
Alrighty, assessments are 94% this year compared to 96% last year. Overall revenue is favorable by 27K. Payroll is favorable by 100,000 due to employee shortages throughout the year. January capital spending was 148,000. That went to start the docks, chipper, and new equipment. Our overall budget is 150,000 favorable for the year. So we're in good shape for the next 3 months. And that's about all I have at this moment.
Okay,
Any
thank you, Don.
questions?
Nope. All right, we'll move right on in then to the president's report. If y'all will bear with me, this won't take too awful long. Good evening. This month's president report will be abbreviated. Our Property Owners Association is governed by 3 separate documents. They are the Declaration of Restrictions, the bylaws, and our rules and regulations. The bylaws and rules and regulations can be modified by the board of directors. The Declaration of Restrictions, DORs, can only be modified through a voting process of the association's residents. My point today is to encourage all of our residents to read and become familiar with all 3 documents in order to protect your investments within Fairfield and to educate yourselves on the different policies and procedures to which your board and committee members and association employees must, and I stress must, adhere. For example, one of those mandated procedures is our budget process. It outlines some budgetary amounts to which we must adhere, as well as a timetable. These constraints are located in the DOR. Your board has no authority to change them. Only our fellow residents do. Over the past few weeks, there have been a number of rumors concerning our fees for the upcoming year. These rumors caused an undue amount of consternation among our residents, as well as imposing an unnecessary workload on our administrative employees, as they have spent countless hours diffusing the rumors. These hours that could have been much more productively spent servicing our community. If those that were troubled by those rumors had been familiar with the mandated budgetary timelines that we do have in our DOR, they would have realized the time for the board's budget discussion and decision-making was still weeks away. Our fees hadn't even been addressed by the board. Please, I ask you to take the time to review our governing documents. They can all be found on the Fairfield website. Our copies can be picked up at the administration building. Thank you very much. And we'll move right on into the operations report. Dakota, please.
Yes, I'm going to read this on behalf of Allison, the GM of Fairfield. She stated that this is always a stressful time of year for the association due to budget prep. Most do not understand the time and effort that goes into setting the budget for the following fiscal year. Hours are poured into it as department heads and management scrutinize every line item, trying to make cuts where we can and adding money where we must, usually starting the process 2 months prior to the board ever laying eyes on it. The Budget and Finance Committee also meets several times to review the draft prior to the board in order to make their recommendations. The board is the last to review the budget, and they usually hold several meetings in late February and early March. However, it never fails that every single year about this time, rumors speculating the amount of the assessment start popping up on social media. These rumors take a substantial amount of staff's time as they respond to countless calls and emails in an attempt to debunk these. The assessment amount is set after all operating costs, capital projects, reserve funding, and income projections are entered in and then tweaked by the board. Final numbers are usually not decided upon until right before the board votes on the budget at the POA March meeting. Please note that any assessment amount that you hear prior to the March meeting is merely a speculation. Due to the start of the COVID pandemic, we were unable to hold an open POA meeting last March for the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget presentation. This year, we will hold a Zoom webinar. This webinar will be a little bit different than the way we have been holding the meetings. Residents will register for the webinar, and at the end of the presentation, the board will accept any questions that residents may have. The webinar information will go out at the end of this month, and registration will begin on March 1st, and we'll be emailing that out in the email blast. One thing I would like for all residents to remember is that the board of directors are elected by the members of the association to handle the association's business per our governing documents. Residents often forget that board members are volunteers, neighbors, and members of the community as well. They devote many hours of their time to the community every month, and they pay the same assessment as everyone else. It is a tireless and thankless job. As part of the association's business, the board is tasked with setting the upcoming fiscal year budget along with the assessment. They have a fiduciary duty to the association and its members to do what is best for the community as a whole. This is an extremely hard task as Fairfield is a very economically diverse community. I can assure you that every effort is being made to contain costs, especially in light of those directly affected economically by the COVID pandemic.
Is that it?
Yes, that is it.
Thanks, Dakota.
Thank you.
We'll move right on into new business, as there is no old business to discuss. New business, first thing on the agenda is the Country Club Pool Shade Project. A little brief explanation, we spend quite a bit of money every year replacing umbrellas, and we get a number of complaints from time to time about the umbrellas don't work, the umbrellas are broken, we don't have umbrellas. And a lot of it is operator problem, and the bottom line is we spend a lot of money on umbrellas, and we're trying to find a way to avoid that. So we've looked into several options. The options were primarily investigated, explored, and developed by board member Tiffany Becker, as well as the general manager Allison Kennedy. And they came to the board with some ideas, and one of them is for a industrial type shade on the back side of the pool area, and that's what we're referring to. So with that said, I need a motion to approve $30,799.19 for the hip style sunshade to be installed by Superior Play Systems at the Country Club Pool.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is passed. Next, we'll move into the three-way stop that we have found a need to have developed at the intersection of Hilltop and Amber Drive. I need a motion to approve a three-way stop at the intersection of Hilltop and Amber Drive.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is approved. The next motion is speed breakers on Tall Pine. As we know, Tall Pine is one of our narrowest roads, and the walking trails across that. Your board's been trying to work to find a way to slow down traffic on Tall Pine, effectively slow down traffic on Tall Pine. And we think that we have an idea that we want to try. And so based on that, I need a motion to approve Rex Paving to install speed breakers on Tall Pine Drive at the crosswalks in the amount of $3,200.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
I need a motion. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next, we'll move into lot management. On lot management, I need a motion to approve the sale of the following lots. 9124 Tarnwood Drive, 2007 West Seneca Court, 9217 Lakeview Parkway, 9228 Tarnwood Lane, 3104 Lakeview Parkway, 3128 Sweetbriar Drive, and lastly, 5226 Hilltop Drive. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I need a
I'll
second.
second. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of selling the aforementioned properties, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The sale of those properties is approved. Finally, we have the opportunity to get a deed back on 1272 Heritage Drive. All in favor of accepting that? I need a motion to accept that deed back.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I need a second.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor of accepting the deed back for 1272 Heritage Drive, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. That concludes the majority of the business for tonight. Do we have any committee reports that anybody would have anything special? It's not a normal month for those, but if anybody has anything they'd like to throw out there now? And
Nope.
if not, we are completed with the business of our association, and I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. And thanks, everybody. We're going to be trying this again in March as we discuss the budget and go into depth in that. And please spread the word to your neighbors. Let's get a lot of participation, please. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dakota. Great job.